Okay, so what you really want to know is how this new live-action Aladdin compares to the animated 1990s original. Well, over the last few years, Disney has been coming out with a lot more of these live-action reimaginings, but they can sometimes be a bit of a hit and miss. I mean, Maleficent was okay, the story was a little bit different from the original Sleeping Beauty, but it worked, it was all right. Cinderella, I actually really enjoyed that one. Beauty and the Beast, this is actually one of my most loved animated Disney films. It was good, the live action version, the reimagining, but it didn't quite get there in terms of making me like it as much as the original. And Dumbo seriously missed the mark. Keep watching for the deal with the real with the new 2019 Aladdin. Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back, Reelers. I'm Rob Harris and this is another Rusty Reels film review. Today I'm going to be talking about the new 2019 Aladdin. This is a live-action reimagining of the 1990s animated Disney classic. Now, the original Aladdin is just brilliant. I don't think that you can have a remake of the film and a live-action version without comparing it to the original. Besides The Lion King, I think I would probably place it as one of my most favourite animated Disney movies. So for me, having grown up with the animated Disney films, it's difficult not to be biased towards those, but I'm trying to be as objective as I possibly can into what this new film is bringing. Now, I don't think I need to give you a summary of the film. Pretty much all of us have seen Aladdin and know the story. Therefore, I'm not going to feel bad about mentioning certain plot points and potential spoilers because we should all know how it goes anyway. Keeping this in mind though, the beginning of the new film is actually a little bit mixed. There's no introduction to Jafar in the Cave of Wonders. Everything is kind of summed up as a montage during the Arabian Nights introduction. It's taking a few assumptions here that we know the story already because it's showing Will Smith, who plays the genie, as a human being with two kids, telling the story, and then breaking into Arabian Nights where you kind of go through the marketplace and you see Aladdin as a pickpocket, you see Jasmine already in the marketplace with no kind of context to who they are and what their background is, and you see a glimpse of Jafar throwing some guy into the Cave of Wonders and it's shutting and saying, you know, "Bring me the diamond in the rough." Fuck, that's hard to do. "Only one may enter here, one whose worth lies far within. The diamond in the rough." Jesus. Oh, my eyes are watering. So by doing this, they're lacking any kind of introduction to the characters. It's kind of assuming that you know who Aladdin is, who Jasmine is, who Jafar is. For, you know, someone like me that's seen the animated one, you know, I know what's going on. I can deduce what's happening here. But considering this is a retelling of the story for, you know, a new generation and for kids, I feel like it's making too many assumptions that they can pick up what's going on. I think you need to kind of ease them into it a little bit more. Yeah, for the younger audience seeing the story of Aladdin for the first time, I think they're going to be a little bit confused. So the way in which it's jumbled here, like I said, Jasmine is already in the marketplace, so we have no introduction to her feeling like isolated in the palace. She's just there in the marketplace, and she does that thing where she gives two kids food and the guy like grabs her and he's gonna like chop her hand off and Aladdin swoops in to save her. And this is when the One Jump Ahead song comes in. He's actually escaping the guards with Jasmine in this song. You do see a few weird director choices here. So there are kind of sped up moments through the sequences. It doesn't look quite right. It looks like the actors are kind of stuck in fast forward mode. So in certain moments they're kind of rushing through the marketplace and they're all like, "One jump ahead of the bread line, one swing ahead of the sword. I steal only what I can't afford." So it speeds that up a little bit, like, "One jump ahead of the bread line, one swing ahead of the sword. I steal only what I can't afford." It's a bit of a weird director trademark for the film, but then again, it is directed by Guy Ritchie, and so we've seen him in things like the Sherlock Holmes movie, where it kind of does that slow motion breakdown, high frame rate speed up later on. But in Aladdin, I don't know why he's making an effort to, you know, sort of pin his trademark camera work on this. But anyway, back to the story. In terms of the mix at the beginning, it's pretty much once Aladdin is at the Cave of Wonders, then the story takes place chronologically in how we're used to seeing in the animated version. Before that, it's a little bit jumbled. They've definitely re-established a few of the like character backgrounds a little bit. For example, Jasmine isn't being forced to be married because she has to by a certain age. It's more like the Sultan trying to create a military alliance so that the next Sultan can be sort of united with Agrabah, because Jasmine isn't allowed to be Sultan as a result of being a woman. So it's her gender which comes into play in terms of her motivations. So there are a few of these other minor changes to the storyline, but they're not detracting so much from the original story to make it so different, but they're definitely trying to make it their own for a new generation. And it's definitely trying to be a bit more modern. But that being said, there are some things that just didn't work for me. First thing I noticed is, Aladdin's the hero of the story. He is a pickpocket, but in the original, he's stealing food. He's doing it to survive. He's also kind-hearted. You see that when he gives food away to the starving children. But in this one, he's stealing jewelry out of people's pockets. He's stealing purses. He's like a real, actual thief. Some of the songs are a bit ambiguous, so you can actually assume that realistically he is more of a thief. But I don't like the fact that how can he be the diamond in the rough when he's so okay with being a general thief and pickpocket? Oh, but no, he's still a good guy. It's a bit of a clash, a bit of a contradiction that I feel like is a conflict that doesn't work. Another thing is, Aladdin is meant to be the street rat. Sure, he's very cunning and he's very slick, but what he does at one point is when he takes Jasmine back to his tower where he lives, he pulls on a rope and these wooden pegs come out to make a stairway. And while he's in his tower, he pulls on a rope and a curtain reveals the layout of the tower. And it's so you've got an advanced engineering knowledge and you're living on the streets? Someone employ this guy. He should be involved in the infrastructure of Agrabah, not living on its streets. Someone employ this kid. Another thing is, I just don't feel the same sense of isolation that Jasmine had in the animated version. She felt very confined, almost like the palace was a prison a little bit. In this one, I don't feel that sense of isolation. She's got a handmaiden as a friend. This is a new character that's introduced. I feel like that new character and that kind of bond and friendship with the handmaiden means she's not as lonely as in the original one. But then again, the emphasis of the story is more of her being forced to marry as a result of being a woman, and she can't rule Agrabah, although she has the love and passion for the people, which would actually make her a really good ruler. Going back to the Cave of Wonders, I feel it's just like this open mouth thing. It just doesn't have any character. Like in the original, the mouth moved and it was quite cool. In this one, it's more like, bring me the diamond in the rough. But let's get into the main subject, which everyone is comparing. Yes, the main thing to talk about is the Genie. So in the live action version, the Genie character is played by Will Smith. And we all know that in the original animated version, the character was voiced by beloved and the late and great Robin Williams. Something to just put out there right away, Robin Williams was better. He's the original, he's the best, he's the most animated, and I mean that figuratively, not literally. But you actually do have to give credit to Will Smith. Like with the original Genie, Robin Williams made it his own. He did impressions and he put his stamp on the character. Will Smith tries to do this and make it a Will Smith rendition of the character, but this only works while he appears human, like he looks like Will Smith. When he's blue, I feel like it's trying too much to do Robin Williams-like stuff because he's magical and it just doesn't work. It's just trying to compete with Robin Williams and it doesn't work for him. But when he's normal and human, he has these kind of Will Smith moments and actually really funny lines that actually are really good. When Will Smith appears as human, he does look exactly like the theatre production of Aladdin's Genie. Top knot, gold and blue robes. He looks exactly the same as the stage version, so it felt a little bit peculiar to see him that way. And the thing that actually surprised me is that the songs are also better with Robin Williams, because although Will Smith is a singer, I guess you could say, but he tried to put his own style on the songs, which worked in some instances. Like there's a bit of beatboxing. So during Friend Like Me, can your friends pull this out the little hat? Can your friends go? And I can't beatbox. And in Prince Ali, Robin Williams just really went for it. But Will Smith, he sounds more monotone or something, like he's really not belting it. He's more concerned about just getting the note right. He's just not really energized or anything like that. Will Smith doesn't have that punch, possess, yeah, who and how, now all you gotta do is rub that lamp. It doesn't quite feel like he goes for it, like he gives it everything. Almost like he's holding back a little bit. And there's also the other most memorable voice from the Aladdin film is Iago. In this remake, he's a very minor character. He is pretty much a parrot pet of Jafar. He has very few lines and he sounds like a parrot. He's like, diamond in the rough, thief in the palace. And doesn't really say much more. He's got like no character. The only thing he does is spy on people. He's like the old day equivalent of a spying drone that then reports back and then goes bitching to like Jafar, but you never see him talk to Jafar about it. You just see the parrot lurking in the shadows, flies off, so you know he's going to go grass them in. Excellent work, Iago. I mean, you've got James Earl Jones to reprise his role for the new Lion King movie, and fair enough, Robin Williams is gone, but you couldn't get Gilbert Gottfried to reprise his role for Iago. So in Iago's absence, you've then got this new handmaiden role, and she actually plays a love interest for the genie. So this actually gives the genie something a little bit more other than wanting to be free, just free. He actually wants to be human. He wants a life. So that's giving him a little bit more something to relate to for the character. And during certain scenes with these two characters together, they have this awkward interaction. And this comes back to Will Smith's character as the human appearance genie, where these scenes are really funny and it really works. And it also works when he's with Aladdin and there are these awkward moments with Prince Ali meeting Jasmine and everyone in the room together and Aladdin putting his foot in his mouth on the introduction and the genie just feeling so awkward and so embarrassed. Now, I've already touched on songs a little bit, but as for the rest of the songs, they just don't have the same magic as the original. A Whole New World, arguably one of the biggest Disney songs there are, and definitely the highlight song of the film, yet when they're singing, the singing ability is very good, but when you're actually looking at the sequence on the magic carpet, in the original, they're up in the clouds and he does that swirl thing on the cloud and he's going past the pyramids and the guy breaks their nose off the pyramid, it falls apart, and they're sweeping along the water. They've got some elements of that, but it just feels like very, very like whatever. There's no suspense when they're like going down the waterfall and she's almost like, oh my God, this is crazy. But they're kind of on it. It's all kind of a smooth ride and very nice and relaxed. It's just not as thrilling. The best way I can sum it up is that with the new Aladdin, when it actually tries to introduce a few slight differences in the character development of the story and it has its own moments, these are actually really good, funny moments. Try to do this to make its own emphasis, its own moments on the original, and these moments work. But the problem is, when it tries to take on the original, it just doesn't beat the original. It feels more like a magic show, while the original gave you actual magic. So all in all, not bad, but you're not missing much. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 reels. So that's my Rusty Reels review. Tell me what you think and comment below on the deal with the reel. Everyone, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It really does help in the world of YouTube with the algorithms and everything else. So please give it a like if you enjoyed. And if you want to see more of my videos and other reviews, head on over to Rusty Reels where you can check out more of my content there, or just give one of these a click instead. Be sure to subscribe too, and click the bell so you know when future videos are also published. Thanks very much for watching, everyone, as always, and in the meantime, just be real.